Hey guys, this is Austin, and our Wi-Fi sucks. So you guys will probably remember our old set. Alright. Now that was great. It was cool to have everything in one office, but as we started expanding, we've gotten another office that's across the hall. It's awesome because it's enabled us to do a ton of cool stuff, build some new sets, have a lot more space, but the problem is that the Wi-Fi is now a straight up disaster. So that's where Asus comes in. Not only did they sponsor this video, but more importantly, they hooked us up with their brand new Lyra Trio. Hopefully the saving grace to our terrible Wi-Fi situation. So the thing is, we actually have good internet here at the office. We have a dedicated business line with 300 megabits per second up and down, and as long as we're actually here in the office, typically we get pretty decent speeds. So over Wi-Fi, a lot of times we're actually going to be pretty close to that full 300 megabits per second. Yeah, see, there we go, we're getting 190, 240, 260. I mean, that's definitely totally solid speed. Now, Wi-Fi is really important for us as not only are we obviously going to be doing stuff like watching videos and downloading stuff, but importantly, we deal with a lot of really giant video files. We're constantly uploading to YouTube, uploading and sending files back and forth between us, and of course, most importantly, downloading those sweet, sweet Steam games to do the benchmarks with. So in comparison, if I run a speed test in our second office, you're going to see that the speeds are slightly less than 280 megabits per second. So right now we're getting 4, maybe 5 megabits. Oh, no, down to 2, 1. So the thing is, not only do we not get great speeds, but almost more importantly than that, it sort of drops out pretty consistently. So the way that a mesh Wi-Fi system works is pretty straightforward. So right now we have a single Wi-Fi router. Now it's going to be a fairly high-end AC solution, and it's fine for a small space, but the laws of physics mean that Wi-Fi can only go so far. So if you take a look at the actual Lyra itself, you'll see that the way of getting around this is just to add more stations to the mix. I make it sound really simple, as if a bunch of engineers at Asus didn't spend years and hundreds of thousands of man hours on developing a product. I'm like, just add more Wi-Fi, it's fine, don't worry about it.
My thumb was in the shot for some of that.
Out of the years of We Shot videos, I've never heard Ken say the words, "my thumb was in the shot." So the way this works is that one of these will function as your main base station. So just like any other Wi-Fi router, you just need to connect it via Ethernet to your modem, and especially if you have a smaller house or apartment, one of these is actually going to be enough to cover it. However, if you've got a little bit of a bigger house, or specifically for our situation, you have an office that has a lot of space to cover, you can connect to the additional hubs and they will all work together. What's unique about these is that not only do they have 3x3 MIMO Wi-Fi, but you're also going to be getting this triangular design. So what's cool about that is that not only do you have full dual band support for 2.4 and 5 GHz Wi-Fi, but because they do have this triangular shape, you're going to be getting some better range. So you have to think about a mesh network a little bit differently than a standard Wi-Fi network, and that your devices are going to be connecting and bouncing between all of these depending on where you are in the house. But also, only one of these, typically at least, although I'll talk a little bit more about that later, is going to be connected to your router. So these also need to be able to communicate between each other, and the 3x3 plus the actual triangular design makes all of this work a lot better than a traditional 2x2 solution. The triangular design also helps the Lyra to project better Wi-Fi signal into multiple story houses. So this is something that I actually wouldn't mind using in my own place. So I do use a mesh network in Google Wi-Fi, and while for the most part it actually does work really well, one of my main issues is the performance. It's reliable, but a lot of times when I'm farther away from the main base station, I see significantly reduced speeds. In addition, while these will work wirelessly, if you have a newer place that has Ethernet wired around your house, you actually can use the Ethernet backhaul to connect each one of these to the network independently. So that will give you some better speeds because instead of them having to talk to each other wirelessly, it can all be done via wired Ethernet and you're going to be getting the maximum speed. So our current network setup is pretty straightforward. So a lot of it surrounds this, the Stornator that I built with Linus a little over a year ago, which currently has over 150 terabytes of capacity that we use to store all of our raw footage as well as our completed projects. So Jimmy has the iMac Pro, which is connected via 10 gig Ethernet to the Stornator, so you actually don't need the Wi-Fi that much, but for Ken and I, we're actually pretty much entirely relying on Wi-Fi to be able to pull down files and that kind of stuff. So let's actually get this set up. With our UPS installed and our cable modem disconnected, the next step is to install Lyra. So all we do with this guy is just plug it in with the included power cable and plug it directly into our cable modem. So we plug the Lyra into power as well as connect our Ethernet port into the LAN/WAN. Then we just need to turn on our cable modem and we will be up and running. Hopefully. Next step is to download the Lyra app for iPhone or Android, and it should be as simple as just connecting it like this. Excellent, your Lyra mesh Wi-Fi node has been discovered. And there we go, the Lyra is set up. So our next step is to take our other base stations and spread them out throughout the office. So one of the main things we actually need to keep in mind is that we have to cover not only this space, but also the space across the hall. Setting up the base stations is really straightforward. All you need to do is plug them in, and then inside the app, they will be added, and then once everything is tied together, any firmware updates are done, you're going to be up and running. Inside the app, you can see that not only do we have the main Lyra, but we also do have the secondary one in the office, as well as most importantly for what we need here, we have a Lyra set up in our secondary studio. So with Lyra, we are getting features like AI protection, which is using Trend Micro to be able to analyze any kind of threats on the network. But the most important question is it going to be faster in here now? Let's find out. Please be faster. Please be faster. All right, ping's pretty quick, and oh yeah, dude, 120, 130? Wow, and that's a serious upload as well, 170, 180 megabits? So no, it's not going to be the full 300 megabits that's theoretically possible, but considering that we were at 2, 3, maybe 4 megabits per second in here before, this has made a huge difference. So that, my friends, is how we fix the Wi-Fi in our studios. Of course, huge shout out to Asus for sponsoring this video, and if you guys want to go check out the Lyra, the link will be in the description.